I'm going to ask you something, and I want to have you be completely honest with yourself about the answer. When you set this year's marketing budget for your supplements brand, how did you arrive at that number? Was it last year's spend or budget adjusted up or down a percentage based on last year's revenue? Chances are your supplements brand's budget isn't built around the specific profit outcome that you need in order to scale your brand the way you envision it, is it? I am here to tell you that your budget started in the wrong place. And so everything built on top of it is essentially unreliable. Plus, it's not going to help you grow, but don't worry because it's easy to fix. And I'm going to walk you exactly how to do that today. I'm Erin Cardoni. I'm the founder of Legendary Ecom Growth Partners. We're a Vancouver-based agency established in 2015 that is exclusively here to help DTC supplements brands grow and scale more profitably using what we call the marketing math framework. This is the active ingredient. It's our YouTube channel that's here created specifically to help you be more profitable. I'm a former Shopify brand owner, so I know what it's like to sit on your side of the table and deal with the decisions that you deal with on a day-to-day basis. What I'm going to share with you today is not agency theory. It's backed by research and data and conversations that we are having with real other DTC supplement brand owners. And what we want to help you with is building a brand that isn't built backwards and what to do instead. Let me describe the backwards budget pattern because I think once you hear it described, you'll recognize it pretty much immediately. And it goes like this. The business sets a revenue target, which is usually a percentage higher or lower than last year's income. And that number gets handed to your agency or your marketing team to work with. They spend it, and at the end of the month or the quarter, you get a report showing how efficiently it was spent, right? But you as the owner are probably sitting there left trying to answer this question of, did it move the business forward? And most likely, in a lot of cases, you can't really answer that question because the marketing report that you're looking at isn't designed to answer that question. So what your agency is doing or your marketing team is doing is really thinking about spend efficiency, which is not the same thing as the business outcomes that you are thinking about. So here's the core problem with that sequence. A budget is supposed to be an answer to a question, and that question is, what does the budget need marketing to produce this year, and how much does it cost to do that? So when you start with a spend number instead of that question, then you're not really building a budget, at least not in the right way. You're just kind of allocating money and hoping it lands somewhere useful. So specifically for DTC supplements brands where your customers are typically unprofitable on the first order, and they're really only going to generate profit for you after that first kind of 12 even to 24-month period of repeat purchases and subscription revenue, then starting in the wrong place compounds every single month until you fix it. So you're probably wondering, where should you start? And the answer is there's 4 inputs that you need to get going. Your budget is going to stem from them rather than the other way around. Number 1 is your revenue target. And it's not going to be last year plus 10% or 20% or 30%, okay? It's a number grounded in what the business can actually operationally execute against, and one that you can connect to a specific acquisition volume of new customers, as well as repeat purchase behavior for those customers and that subscription growth that would need to happen to support it. The next one is your target gross margin. That's the percentage of each sale after product costs and variable fulfillment costs, right? This is like the gate that determines how much revenue needs to be generated to fund everything that's downstream, right? So if your gross margin is like 38%, and you're planning it like it's 50%, then the numbers are just not going to work out even before you've spent a single dollar. The third one is your fixed monthly costs. You've already got that in your P&L. That's your rent, your payroll, your software, everything that the business owes, whether it sells anything or not. And this is kind of the floor that your contribution margin has to have clear before even a dollar of profit can appear. Now, the fourth one, and honestly the most important one, is your desired profit. This is a dollar number that the business actually needs to produce in order to get you to your growth goal. This is not revenue and a ratio. This is dollars left at the end of the quarter or the year, and after every cost is covered. So you're going to put those four inputs together, and then the implied marketing budget is going to calculate automatically from those constraints. Okay, so the budget becomes an answer to that question. What can we rationally spend in order to produce the profit outcome we want, given our gross margin and our fixed cost reality? That is going to be a completely different number than whatever felt right last year, or a blanket percentage increase from last year. And it is a number that you can actually defend. There is going to be one more step though before it's all complete, and most brands skip it. A budget that's built without an analysis of where that growth can actually come from is totally incomplete. You can have the right total number and still allocate it in a way that has no chance of ever hitting your revenue target, because that split between your new customer acquisition and your average order value increases just does not match where the growth is actually going to need to come from first. So that's where this growth lever model comes in. That's right within the tool that I built for you. And it's only just one part of the free tool that I created specifically for DTC supplements brands that are stuck in that $1 to $5 million revenue range to help you get out of that plateau. The growth lever model asks one question, and that is, what percentage of your revenue target will come from each source? First of all, your new customer acquisition through paid media, email and SMS to existing customers, subscription growth through attach rate and retention improvement, average order value improvement through upsells and bundles, organic and SEO traffic, influencer and affiliate channels. Each of these levers gets a percentage, and the implied revenue contribution calculates for you automatically. The total has to equal 100% of your revenue target. What this exercise reveals for most supplements brands is that there's a mismatch they didn't even know was there. So if the revenue target assumes that subscription growth is going to carry 30% of that number, let's say, but then there's no post-purchase sequence improvement planned in the budget, there's no subscription offer restructure planned, and there's no passive churn recovery flow, the lever has a percentage, but there's no plan in place. Or another scenario is that paid acquisition is supposed to carry 65% of the target, which is extremely common, but the channel budget allocates 20% of spend to retargeting existing customers who were probably going to buy anyway. The math just doesn't work, but it's also invisible to you until you lay it out explicitly. So the growth lever model here doesn't just tell you how to allocate the budget, it tells you whether your revenue target and your budget are actually pointing in the same direction. So for most brands who are doing this exercise for the first time, they're not pointing in the same direction. And finding that out 3 quarters into your fiscal year is way too late. Okay, the last step before locking in a budget is this profit sanity check. Okay, there are 4 numbers here that confirm the math holds up before any spend is committed. Number 1 is your target cost to acquire a new customer. Super important. Your implied marketing budget divided by your target new customer count. Does that acquisition cost make sense relative to what you know about channel performance and your conversion rates? Number 2 is your estimated customer lifetime value, or you might actually have this number. That would be what a customer acquired at that acquisition cost generates over the course of their lifetime. For a supplements brand, this needs to be based on actual data, maybe from your Shopify dashboard. So that's what customers acquired 12 to 18 months ago, and you need to set a window there, actually generated in terms of revenue, and not as a category benchmark. Don't use that. Use your real numbers. Number 3 is a lifetime value to acquisition cost ratio. So it's customer lifetime value after 12 months, let's say, divided by a target new customer acquisition cost. The benchmark here for supplements brands is 3 to 1 or higher at a 12-month subscription window. And this is the number that I want you to pay the most attention to, because if your lifetime value to acquisition cost ratio is 2 to 1 or less, then the budget that you've planned means that scaling is going to worsen your problem and will not fix it whatsoever. It's just going to get worse. The economics here need to be sound before the throttle goes up. And the fourth one here is the payback period on your newly acquired customers. So this is going to be in months, and it's actually your cash flow signal. So a payback period that's fine for a really well-funded brand can be a meaningful constraint for a bootstrapped brand that's really managing kind of on a month-to-month basis. If any of those 4 numbers flag a problem, you're going to need to revise your budget before it's truly committed, and not after the first quarter or the first 3 quarters confirm that there was a problem from the start. The brands that do this work up front, they are going to spend way less time reacting mid-year and way more time executing a plan that was sound before it ever started. Everything that I've walked you through today, including those 4 starting inputs and the growth lever model, the profit health check, it's all built into tab 2 of the supplements marketing budget workbook that I built for you. I created specifically for supplements brands. So you're going to want to make a copy of this spreadsheet, get it from the link in the description, save it to your Google Drive or save it to your desktop, and plug in your own unique numbers. That's what it's for. The implied budget, the new contributions, and the health check are all going to calculate for you automatically. This is a beefy and a super valuable tool for you, and it is completely free. So the link to get it is in the description. I also created 2 guides to help you, and both are linked below. One is going to cover the framework and the theory behind the supplements brand marketing budget worksheet, and it's going to explain that theory in more depth to help you understand the concept here, as well as the second one, which is a how-to guide that walks you through how to use it step by step. Subscribe to the Active Ingredient if you haven't already. New episodes specifically for DTC supplements brands are being published here about once a week, and I'm always developing new free tools to help you run your business better and more profitably, to help you scale. In next week's episode, I am digging into why most supplements brands cannot tell whether their ad spend is actually growing their business or not, and the one number that actually does answer that question. See you there.